Good morning. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. We are going to go ahead and do another white paper review. This one has been sneaking under the radar, and I don't understand how I did not see it earlier. It's called Avalon The Druids. This is an open world fantasy MMORPG. I always mess up saying that. Style game. This is one of those that's potentially could rival something like World of Warcraft. Obviously, World of Warcraft is very, very mainstream, huge, big following, and it's a traditional game. But this has got some similarities that I can see in there. And like I said before, this one's flying so far under the radar, but it has probably the most potential I've done in a long time as far as a gameplay review goes. It is not launched yet. The official full launch isn't really targeted until August of 2023, but they are targeting to do the alpha next month. I think they said sometime early December. So if it's something that you like, as I'm going through here, it will be kicking off here in a few weeks as far as the alpha goes. And I'll quickly show you what you need to get in order to jump into the alpha. But like I said, you can just see it's a 3D game. It's got a lot of depth. Look at the graphics. It's one of the better, if not the best, graphics from a 3D style game that I've seen on Wax. Obviously, I have not been in the game, but we do have some sneak peek videos that we're going to show you here at the end of the video, just to give you a better idea of the style and the gameplay itself. Once the alpha kicks off, I do have a pass to go ahead and jump in there. So I'll be doing some additional videos around that, just to give you some idea of the actual gameplay, which I'm excited to try it out. As far as the game goes, you have your choice between a lot of different characters. There's everything from mages, there's going to be Templars, there's going to be elf knights, there's going to be regular knights that are full heavy armor. There's going to be a ton of different options. We'll go through those in more detail. You can own land. You obviously have weapons. You can fly on birds. Check out those graphics. You can also fly on dragons. You're going to be able to grow, and fly. Basically, ride dragons that can shoot fire and burn buildings, or shoot ice and freeze enemies. So it's pretty cool. They have guilds in there. There's a lot of neat things that they are promising as far as the game goes. Please understand that I always got to do this. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial professional. Please make sure you're doing your own research before you jump into any of these games. I have to put it out there because a lot of these are promises that until I actually get to jump in game and see, I have to go ahead and take the word of the project team. The project is backed by a software company, so that's awesome. We'll show you the team here in a little bit in the white paper to just give you some idea of some of the people that are involved in the game, which adds some legitimacy to their promises. So it'll be really neat to see going forward. Enough of that. Let's actually talk about the game itself. It is not just a strictly Wax game. It's going to be on multiple chains. Wax is just one of those chains, which is nice to see with a game of this caliber that is also going to be on Wax. It's also going to be on Ethereum down the road. We'll go through those down the road when we talk about this a little bit more. Obviously, I'm focused on the Wax side. That's any assets that I do purchase are going to be on the Wax end. So I'll be able to give you the viewpoint of the Wax side. It will initially come out as a Windows downloadable client. And eventually move to Mac and Oculus. So that's kind of neat that they're already planning the VR side of it. And they're also planning where you can use an Xbox controller, which is, again, down the road. So there's a lot of things that they're really hoping to put in this game, which makes it super promising as long as they can deliver on their promises. Let's dive into the white paper. I'll have a link to their website in the description down below where you can get access to the white paper. I'll also include a link to their latest trailer that they just dropped a few days ago. It gives you another idea. We're not going to dive through that video on this one, but we'll show you some other sneak peeks so you get a chance to see both of them if you want to. Again, this is a medieval style game. Every building, every asset in game is basically can be owned by players. They've already started selling some of the properties. So you can go out there and get a house for some of the villages that are there. There are villages that are going to be completely dedicated to guilds. So if you're in one of the bigger guilds, you can all be in the same village, which makes it really nice and convenient. So there's a lot of cool things that are around it. I'm not going to dive too far into the gameplay because I'm going to do that more when we actually get access to alpha. But starting out, you're gonna have quests available. They have different types of characters. They have the NFT ones, which are going to be the higher tier, the legendaries and the mythics and stuff like that. So they have that, but they also have what they're calling this free to play or the free to use characters. They are not in NFT form, so you can level them up and play them. This is an example of one, but you cannot get an NFT to go ahead and sell. The only ones that you can really sell is the NFT versions, and I'll show you those here in a second, some of them. Those you can also level up and you can sell as higher levels. Basically, you get to certain levels and you unlock different capabilities. For example, on the Legendary Templar, once you get to level 90, you can go ahead and train and grow and ride on ice dragons, which is a neat item that you can do down the road. So some of the cool things there's landlords I already mentioned. There's a number of buildings that are currently available from different types of houses. There's a mill, which you can see here. And then there's also the portals that are available. There will be a lot more down the road, which we'll touch on here in a second. In addition to that, they're going to have raids during this initial alpha that allow you to get different items, basically badges. For the alpha, you're going to be able to get badge NFTs that when the game launches in August of 2023, you can go ahead and exchange them for different items, whether it's characters or different items within the game. That's something that's to be defined down the road. So that's really, it's going to be here in the phase one. And again, I continue to say phase one is probably about alpha through the end of next year. Then there's going to be phase two, or they call it chapter two. And there's a whole lot of items that they're looking to add down the road, from PvP to weekly tournaments. You got dragon eggs down here, and different types of play to earn and play to learn, and transport portals. There's just a lot of neat things. I can't get it all into one video, which is unfortunate, but we're going to continue to make some additional videos, again, especially when alpha comes out, where I can actually show you the different items throughout the game. Now going to some of the buildings that are going to be available. As I mentioned, there's going to be right now there are a number of different houses and homes that are available, from small huts up to farmlands. Eventually there's going to be mansions. In each of the houses, you get a number of different things. You get a storage chest, which is going to be super helpful, so you don't have to carry everything with you all the time. You get a bed, so you can go ahead and sleep and recover and get temporary buffs from it. You get a fireplace for cooking meals. You also get a workplace that allows you to partially repair your equipment, because your equipment does get damaged throughout the process of fighting, so you will have to repair it or replace it down the road. In addition to those items, depending on the size of the house that you have, you're able to get additional items that spawn within your house or on your farmland. Most of it is metal and wood, as you can see from the lower tiers. As you get higher tiers, you just get a little bit more of the metal ore. Some you get arrows. The large house you get arrows, and for the farmhouse you actually get some products from the farm itself, like barley, apples, and pumpkins, that you can either use to cook or you can use to eat, just to replenish your health, and down the road give you buffs. In addition, they have mansions. Mansions are going to be for like the guilds, where you have meeting places and stuff like that. So they're trying to cater some areas towards creating and growing your guild. Also for single players, it allows single players to go ahead and play. If you don't really enjoy the team aspect, you can go ahead and just one-off. The only thing you won't be able to really do much of is raids, but I'm sure they're going to have some feature that allow you to join a team randomly. In addition to that, you'll be able to access full villages by going ahead and getting the church or the structure. That's the temple, I guess they call it. And that allows you to own all the land in the village, which allows you to charge taxes for anyone that lives within the village or owns buildings within the village, which is nice. In addition, they're going to have castles and kingdoms. There's going to be a total of 12 different kingdoms within the land. So there's going to have basically 12 different castles. Each castle is going to have its own leader, which combines into an overall, governance, which is neat to see. Down the road, they're also going to have harbors, because you're going to be able to travel from one kingdom to another via ship, or also there's going to be a special island that you can go down or go to once you get a higher level that has different rewards. Portals that allow you to transport to different areas rather quickly, stables where you can grow and sell horses, forges are going to be in each of the villages that allow you to create different weapons. Again, once we get into alpha, we'll go through these in more detail. And as I mentioned, there's windmills that allow you to bake and create different food items that give you recovery. There's only really 2 windmills per village. And you are actually able to own those. You get a passive income from those, which we'll talk about more here in a second. As far as the characters that they've identified so far, there are 2 different characters. There's the Grand Inquisitor. He's a dark mage. So there's right now in the marketplace, there's 3 tiers of him, from an epic, legendary to mythic, all giving you different rewards. Once we have more information on the characters, I'll probably do a separate video on that, diving into it. But the epic through mythic give you extra bonuses, which you can see here as far as raid bonuses, and you can see them giving you PDE bonuses. So we'll go through that more in a separate video. But there's also the Templar Grandmaster, which carries heavy equipment like swords and shields and heavy armor, but can also do some magic. This is the one that I like so far out of the 2 that are available. They've also hinted at a knight, which is a straight tank. There's elf knights. There's also going to be Vikings, which I imagine is two weapons or dual weapons. So there's going to be a lot of different characters down the road. I think they're going to provide a whole Medium article or video around the different types of characters. Once that comes out, I'll be able to make a better video along those lines. These are the only 2 characters that are available in the marketplace right now. In addition to that, there is going to be different dragons, from fire dragons, which are big, but they're a little bit slower, and they breathe fire, and you can actually see them in town. They breathe fire, and they can burn houses. They don't burn them down. They don't damage the houses, but it's a neat effect that they have in the area. There's going to be water dragons, and there's going to be ice dragons. The ice dragons are the ones that interest me the most because they go along with the Templar Grandmasters. They do shoot ice. They can freeze your enemies. They're not as cool looking as obviously the flames, but they have night vision, which is going to be great at night. They keep hinting at vampires at night within the game. So it'd be nice to have dragons that can see in the dark. So it's a lot of neat things around those lines. As I mentioned, there's raids. Once we have alpha and we have access to the raids, I'm going to dive into this one a whole lot more detail. It's basically teams of 5 to 6. You go through basically doing this long-ended or multi-staged raid or quest. At the end of it, there's a number of different rewards that you can get from it, all the way up to special NFTs. They've hinted at if you're fighting like orcs, you can get orc equipment that's stronger than the normal equipment that you can get in game. Just things that they've hinted at within the game itself. So it's going to be neat to see. Here's just one of their graphics for it. When you go through some of these raids, raids are going to be a big part. They're going to be challenging, but it's going to be the easiest way to get NFTs in the game and rewards in the game. So it'd be neat to see how they handle those. In addition to that, as I mentioned, there is the play to earn aspect. There's a number of different ways you can get it, from owning lands, running quests, and basically manufacturing different items. You can go straight with the mogul aspect, where you just want to produce and sell items. You can go that route, or you can be the adventurer and go on quests or do raids, or the landlord who just owns different equipment or different buildings throughout the lands and just gets passive income or some sort of income from those. Here's an example of some of the buildings that are going to be in the game, from small villages or village houses, which we talked about. I showed you some of those, all the way down to castles. And this second column really shows you the level of income that comes with them. The village house and the townhouse aren't going to provide any income, but they provide a whole lot of other benefits that I had already mentioned. The mills, they provide income, but then you get into the items that are taxed. Once you get down to the temples, that's where you actually own the land. So in addition to owning the passive income here, you're also owning the tax from the owning all the land that goes along with it, which is pretty neat. So there's a lot of different land ownership items that you could have. I've been long-winded on the white paper. Let me just cover 2 more items, and I'll go ahead and show you some clips from the game itself. As I mentioned, they do have a long roadmap that's pretty detailed. If you jump on their Twitch, they'll have random kind of walkthroughs of the game, walkthroughs of the current build to show you what's currently in the game. And they talk through a lot of the details, a lot of the roadmaps that's down the road, just not just for Wax, but everything that's involved in the project. So I highly encourage you to jump in the Discord so you're alerted to whenever they do these sessions. They don't record them, which is one of the things I don't like about it. But they have them available. They're constantly showing the most recent builds. So they are communicating as much as possible. It's just the way I wish they would record it. But I guess from their perspective, they're continuing to develop, so they don't want to have an old recorded session out there when there's a lot more to the game. So I see it both ways. I just like to see it recorded because I'm not always available for the streams. I've maybe caught one over the last couple of weeks. A lot more to come with that. I'm not going to hang on the roadmap too much. I did want to quickly show you the teams as far as some of the people that are involved. As far as the writing comes from someone that was involved in the Game of Thrones game itself. Then you got the music comes from Final Fantasy and Blade Runner. And so you have a lot of people that are involved in some of these big name items. And the chief environment designer, if you're familiar with Halo or The Witcher, which is really neat to see that these guys are involved. So there is a solid studio that's backing this. They mentioned in the stream that they do have funding, which is unique within the Wax blockchain. Allows them to develop and continue to work and not just rush items out there, which is neat to see. All right, now we're going to go ahead and jump over to some of the videos that they have on Twitch to give you a sneak peek of what it looks like, and I think you're going to be impressed with this. All right, the first video you have here, you have, it looks like muddy. I'm not exactly sure what it is because they have a bow, but they also have some heavy armor, so it might be a Templar running through the town, switching between different items. You see how the graphics are great. I do have it maximized, so the resolution isn't as good as it normally is, but at least gives you an idea of this is a village. All the buildings here are owned by the players. You see the mill over here. You can run through the different villages. Down the road, you're going to see different. Down here's a forge. You'll see in a different clip. I'm sorry, it's down here. And there's stables where you can get the horses. It's just neat what they've done. Right now, a majority of what they have in the game is focused around the villages. Plus, there's a hunting grounds, which I haven't had the chance to see yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over here to another clip, show you actually one of the mages that's running around, so you can see at different parts of the village. All right, as you can see, we have one of I believe it's the Inquisitor here. I'm not sure what they're doing. I think they might be charging. You see the interface down the bottom here. Like I said, once I get access to these, I'm going to go ahead and try and show you, as far as the alpha goes, different parts of the game. So let's jump back over to the website. What are my thoughts of the game? So far, I don't understand why it's flying so under the radar. This should be more popular. There should be a lot more people interested or aware of this game, in my personal opinion. I think it's going to get more popular, especially as the alpha comes out and people are in there and are playing the different parts of the game. There are 3 passes available. I'm going to focus on the Wax side as far as the 3 passes that are available in order to access the alpha. There's the Emerald Pass, which is the lowest. There is the Silver, and then there's the Gold. The Gold gives you the highest. I may do another quick video around the different tiers and the different rewards that come with these different passes, because I think if you're at all interested in these style of games, you may be interested in going ahead and grabbing one of the passes so you can jump into the alpha, be part of some of the sales that are coming ahead of time. Plus, they have other benefits that I'll talk through. Again, I think this is a game that people on Wax should be aware of. Obviously, the alpha will tell us a lot as far as how far they've come. Right now, it's just the videos that we've seen in the streams and the sneak peeks, but a lot more to come. If they uphold a lot of their promises, you will see a lot more videos around this from me and a lot of other streamers. Now's just a good time to take a look at it if you're at all interested in it. All right, I'll talk to you all later and have a great day. Bye.